I've belonged to a group of, I don't know, we just all hung out together, we're just good kids, right? And we used to go into music stores on Friday nights. And we all played instruments. We go into the music stores, and this one music store in particular, we just pull all the instruments off the walls, and we just start jamming, right? And they would kick us out, we'd go to the next store, and when everything closed, we'd go into this big, huge field, and we'd sit around with our guitars and stuff, and we'd sing songs, and we'd eat Doritos and whatever, you know, in the middle of this field. So, one of the things we did, one day, I walked into this music store with all my friends, right, to do the whole full instrument down thing. We actually played flute, sax, you know, a couple of guitar players, a piano player, you know. And up there, if you can imagine this, let's say you come into the door from there, and like there's this raised area here in the music store, right? And there was this guitar case, and it was open, sitting up there. And they had the lights like shining down on it.
Heavenly chorus.
Well, let me tell you, that's what happened. As I came in the door, and it was this like guitar sitting up on the dais, right? And it had this purple velvet inside. The case was purple velvet. And I looked at that thing from afar, and, you know, like they do in the movies, you know, the lights are flashing out of it, and you're hearing, hallelujah, you know, all of that stuff. So I was like, oh my God, there's this guitar up there, right? And I've been playing this guitar, a Yamaha, with a hole in it that one of my friends had bought me for 50 bucks, you know, we got it in a trading post. And so that's the one I was playing at the time, but I didn't have it with me. We were just all walking in. So I walk up to this guitar, and I get up there and I look at it. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And it had like a tannish yellow front, and it had a ebony board, and it's made out of rosewood, like roses, you know, the wood from rose bushes.
Yeah.
And it had, on the pick guard was a mother of pearl dove. And then each of the little white things on the fretboards, they're made of mother of pearl. So, and then we had these ebony pegs. And then on the end, it was rubber tuning, which means when you turn it over, you can't see the insides of the working of the tuning. It's all one, like little boxes, you know. So it's oiled and the system stays in there. But I just saw it just laid out there, and it was just the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And I reached out. It's like I can barely touch it. I remember just one string, you know, it was so heavenly sounding. And I just took my hand and I brushed it along the side of the guitar, just like that, all the way to the front. And when I got up to the top, it had my name on it.
That's sexy.
It said Dove. That's my name, Dove. So I was like, oh my God, this guitar has my name on it! And I knew right away that guitar was mine. And I asked the guy, he says, you like the guitar? I said, yeah. He says, that's a $2,500 guitar. And I said, I gotta have this guitar, right? Oh, I guess I was in 10th grade at the time.
10th grade?
10th grade, yeah. And I had just gotten a job working for College Chicken. It's a place on the corner where you wear these red hats with a chicken on top.
Oh, God.
Oh, right.
So, minimum wage at the time was $3.10 an hour. Okay, $3.10 an hour. And I was maybe get 20 hours a week if I was really, really lucky. Most of the time I got 10 or 15 hours a week, right? I said to this guy, I have this guitar. He says, well, what can you do? And I said, well, you know, I work, but I can give you $20 a week. He says, oh, I don't know. He tried to jack the price up, you know. I got this other guy over here, and he says he's going to buy it. And I said, well, I know this guitar's mine. I know it is. I said, but I work at Pollard's Chicken with the, oh, the guy with the chickens on the head. Yeah, with the chickens on the head. And so I said, look, I know I can give you $20 a week. I get paid every Friday. He said, so you come in here every Friday? I said, no, actually, I think I should come in on Monday. That way, if I go pick my check up on Friday or Saturday, then I have time to cash the check, yada, yada. Every Monday, I'll come in and bring you $20. So he says, okay, it's a deal. Let's see what happens, right? This was in September of my sophomore year. So I just started the 10th grade. And I started coming in. I had a friend, a best friend. She was standing there with me, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, but I know this guitar should be mine, right? Of course, you can't take a $2,000 guitar home when you work at Pollard's Chicken and you earn $30 a week. So, they folded it up, put it in the back room, right? And so my friend next to me, she said, her name was Donna. Look, she says, Donna, if you ever get like 1 week when you just can't pay that bill, she said, all you gotta do is say, I need you to put $20 on my guitar this week. She said, and I'll go down there and I'll pay for it. And you know, there was 1 week when I couldn't pay, she did do it. She says, no questions asked, no questions asked. And she did. That 1 week, it was like 3 years later, I thought I was a senior or something. So every week I'd go in there and I'd pay my $10. I mean, my $20. And I'd pull the guitar out of the back and I'd sit down and we'd spend some time and I'd play, you know. And every week I would do that. Well, I was in the Girl Scouts, very, very active in the Girl Scouts. Still have my Girl Scout card. I'm a 35-year Scout, thank you very much. Well, I was doing a guitar workshop, a songs workshop with one of the troops, the little brownie troops, the little people, 2nd grade. And we all got in the car after this a lot. I was using the Yamaha. And then we all jumped in the car. We were getting to the car. I was the one driving. I had an old beat-up car. Didn't even have a paint job. It had Battleship Gray primer on it, you know. But we called my maiden name was Heidel Ball. We called it the Heidel Bomb, right? And
Awesome.
But I was the only one that had a car. You know, I paid for it myself, you know. All right. And so anyway, I put my Yamaha, you know, I set up against the car. I unlocked the car, let everybody in, and I said, okay, everybody in. I got in the car, put my seatbelt on, backed up over my Yamaha, crunched my Yamaha.
Oh.
Crunched it. Now, are there any musicians in the room?
Yeah.
When you have an instrument,
Hurt.
okay, and it's an instrument that you write songs on, you're sad with this thing, you're happy with this thing, you spend hours every day just fooling around on it, right? That's your friend. And I backed up and just killed this guitar, okay? It was never going to be played again. My heart was broken. And it was 3 weeks before Christmas. And in my house, music is like the biggest thing. Everybody gets around, we have Advent, we all sing, we dance, we all play, everybody pulls their instruments out. And I'm the one that plays the music so everybody can sing Christmas carols and stuff like that. And 3 weeks before Christmas, and my Hispanic family was not going to have music for Christmas.
Yay. Go
Okay?
people.
Right. So I go in, that happened on a Saturday. I spend 2 days without my music. My music was dead. And I go into the shop on Monday to pay my $20. And I paid him my $20 and I pulled out my guitar, and I sat down and I just started bawling. Tears just.
Oh.
And the guy comes over and he's like, whoa. He says, and he has an accent. I think he was Armenian or something. He says, oh, what's wrong with you? I said, and I told him the whole story, how I backed up over my music, how I'm Hispanic and I'm the music, and the music's silent forever in my household because I can't play and I've lost my best friend and the whole bit. And he says, he pats me on the back and says, I don't think he knew what to do with an adolescent female crying on the top of the guitar on his dais there. And so anyway, he says, I tell you what, he says, you pay your bills better than anybody else, he says, I have in this class, I have in this shop. Every Monday you come in, you give me the $20, you never fail, he says. Now, understand, it's 3 weeks before Christmas, so we're like, I've only been paying on this thing September, October, November. I'm in my 4th month paying for a $2,500 guitar.
It's a lot.
Okay? And the guy says, I tell you what, he says, you take this guitar home. And he let me take home a $2,500 guitar, and I had only paid $240 on a $2,500 guitar, and I took it home. And it's been with me ever since. I was still paying on it when I was in graduate school in college. $20 a week, paying off $2,500, it takes a long time. This is
Allie.
Where's the doves? I
made
want
out
to
of
see the doves.
rosewood. I'll show you in just a second. And this is ebony and mother of pearl inlay. Got mother of pearl dog here. See that? This is all pearl. Everything that looks like pearl is pearl.
That is pearl. From the ocean.
It's,
I thought it was from a lake.
it's made out of rosewood, and except the dark wood is ebony wood.
Thanks for getting in the way, Jennifer.
The doves.
Oh, I see it now.
And look right here.
Where does it say dove? No, right there.
It says dove right on it. This is made in 1969. It has it's a registered instrument. It is worth about $7,000 now. It has a serial number on the back, so it's traceable. And the guy who made it has his signature there. If you look on the inside down here in the bottom, you can't see it right now, but it says, guaranteed, Gibson guarantees this instrument against faulty workmanship and materials, which basically means I can get this thing repaired for the life of the instrument, for as long as I own it, for free,
All right.
forever.
Forever.
As long as the
Unless you run it over.
Let's hear a song, Miss Wimbish.
All right.
You can run it over and get it repaired?
Huh?
You can run it over and get it repaired?
That's not a repair, that's a replace.
Yeah.